Hello everybody, it's your boy Lumenaddy. Today is July the 21st and let's get right into it. I want to do things a little bit differently today. Rather than hitting the charts right away, I want to switch more to a value-based trading strategy and step away from the technical analysis of the charts. The reason for that is because I find overall, when you're looking for big patterns, overall position can be attained and evaluated better when you're looking at the value of an asset and assessing that long term. So I'd like to get into how I analyze Stellar as an asset, and with price fluctuating and generally the market being in a bear trend and now slowly picking up into a positive bull run, where should you put your money? Where should you leave it in Bitcoin? Should you leave it in Litecoin? Should you leave it in EOS? Where should you put your money for the greatest return in this bull market? And for that, and on a value-based strategy, what I look for is adoption. Where is there the potential for the greatest increase in adoption? That's what I'm looking for. So we'll start with Bitcoin. This article is on January the 18th. I couldn't find anything more recent, but I'm sure it's out there. I'm just not able to find it. But on January the 18th, they've basically said that approximately about 28.5 million Bitcoin wallets exist. So let's just round that up because it's been 6 to 7 months since then. So let's just say about 35 million Bitcoin wallets exist currently. And that's after we had the massive bull run of 2018, late 2017, early 2018. So we can expect when the next bull run comes for there to be even greater adoption, right? So we can say maybe double. Let's say from 35 you go to 70 million wallets in the next great bull run. And the next great bull run might happen, and I'm talking about the peak of the next great bull run, not that it's probably going to continue increasing for the next few years. In Bitcoin, let's just roughly throw out maybe the next great bull run peak before it again goes down again might happen in 3 years, right? And between now and then, we'll just be in a bull market that keeps going high, right? And in that span, you might see about 70 to maybe even 100 million people in Bitcoin. And that number can really exponentially increase. So there's no real certain way. I'm just throwing very conservative numbers out there, right? How does Stellar compare to this, and where is its potential to grow, right? So right now on CoinMarketCap, if you go and see where Stellar ranks, it's ranked 6th in terms of market cap, right? And in terms of number of wallets, number of accounts, if you look at over here on Stellar Expert, now this stopped working on July 3rd, so this data is as accurate up to July 3rd of this year. And then there was a glitch on this. And then, so all this data is up to July 3rd. If we see the number of accounts held that hold a Stellar asset, it's at 551,483. That's it. 551,483. And compare that to 35 million of Bitcoin, right? And in terms of market cap, we're about more than 100 million market cap difference in Bitcoin and Stellar. But there's more than 100 times, I would say, potential for market adoption of Stellar than Bitcoin. I mean, everyone's heard of Bitcoin. Everyone's already talked. Bitcoin is the household name. Stellar is gaining the household status, but it's not there yet. It's not there the likes of Ethereum. It's not there the likes of Bitcoin Cash. But it's getting there. And that's why I'm most excited about Stellar. And that's why I feel in these upcoming bull run period, your asset would get the greatest return on investment if placed in Stellar for 2 reasons. One, because of, and again, this is all based on value-based strategy. I'm not looking at any charts or anything. But I feel that the rate of adoption for Stellar, or the percentage of adoption of Stellar has a greater outlook than the percentage of adoption of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's already been exposed. It's already been out there, and more people will come into it. But I find that more people will adapt to Stellar at a greater rate, if that makes sense. I'm talking about the rate of adoption. I'm not talking about the total number of people. I'm saying that the rate of adoption of Stellar will be at a greater increase than the rate of adoption of Bitcoin during this next bull market. And because of that, I'm saying that you're going to see greater return on investment in percentage-wise with Stellar than you are going to see on Bitcoin. Maybe the total value of one Bitcoin, actually not maybe, absolutely, the total value of one Bitcoin will be astronomically higher than the total value of one Stellar. But the rate of increase from where we are right now to where these highs are going to be, I think you'll get your greatest return in the shortest amount of time in Stellar versus Bitcoin. And and if you look at the current 24-hour percentage increase, you'll see that supports my hypothesis. But again, I'm talking about over at least 3 years, and this is just a little snippet. But this is just an indication of what I mean is going to happen. Now, what are the other cases to support this valuation? Am I strictly just talking numbers of wallets that exist currently versus how many I think that they can possibly have? No, I also think there's news that came out that makes it very likely that the adoption of Stellar is going to increase. This news came out last month, and it's about ItBit approving. Oh, let me stop that 1 second. ItBit approving Lumens for accredited investors. So basically, ItBit's cryptocurrency exchange geared towards accredited investors, the big time investors, and they're trying to attract Wall Street money. And they got the license approval to do that in New York, which I think is huge. So you're going to see a lot of investment money get into Bitcoin. That's important. So you have the big dogs who hold the big cash coming in. Speaking of big cash, Stellar recently, and this just came out a couple days ago, Stellar recently got their Islamic finance certification. Why is that important? Because for the people of the Islamic faith that don't do any business unless they get approved by Sharia law, and there's approximately 1 billion 1.8 billion, almost 2 billion Islamic people, when they're waiting for a Sharia law approval before they engage in financial products or financial investments with anything, and once they gain that approval, you better believe that money, that part of the world, is going to heavily adopt a new technology such as Stellar. And so I think now that this market is now open, and I'm not sure which other crypto assets have gotten their Sharia finance certification, but this is definitely a big key step in adoption and should not be overlooked. And finally, in terms of the UI interface to make it more appealing, and more approachable in terms of using this asset, there is Stellar X being launched, I believe, in September. And this front-end UI is going to make the Stellar experience a lot better. And they're also encouraging market makers to participate by giving rewards for market makers. So there should be a high volume that we're going to see with Stellar X, and this will be a very highly used decentralized exchange for any assets, really. So for all these reasons, I really think that we are going to see mass adoption in Stellar, and that's going to get your greatest return in the bull market currently. Now, if you really want to swing for the fences and you want to exponentially increase your amount of Stellar, what I propose and what I am doing is I am invested in SMARTLANDS. And the reason I outlined for Stellar having a higher rate of adoption versus Bitcoin, that same argument I apply to SMARTLANDS to having, relatively speaking, a higher rate of adoption compared to Stellar. And what I mean by that is, as Stellar increases in its adoption, so will SMARTLANDS, as it is an asset produced on the Stellar platform. And SmartLands, sorry, it's an ICO produced in the Stellar platform, and SmartLands. My argument is that SmartLands will become adopted by most Stellar users at a very quick, high rate. And why do I say that? Why do I think SmartLands is the one and not the other ICOs on there? Well, they are in the business of asset-based tokenization, which is the third wave of cryptocurrency. The first wave was blockchain, and with Bitcoin, with Bitcoin being introduced as a store of value and exchange of value. Then came the second wave was ICOs created on platforms such as Ethereum, and Stellar also released a few ICOs. And the third wave to me, and I've mentioned this in my previous videos, is going to be asset-based tokenization, because it harnesses the ability to use blockchain technology, and the current limitations in investment are overcome by the adoption of blockchain technology. And this, I really encourage you to go to the website to read into their latest news release about what SmartLands is offering, which is crowdfunding and ABT offering, compares with traditional ICOs and traditional IPOs, and the advantages of it, because this just is groundbreaking. I don't want to sound like that BitConnect guy who tried to hype up stuff, and then we all know what happened with BitConnect. So I'm not gonna rave and rant about it, but I just would encourage you to read into it, because I feel that is your next opportunity to really hit it big. My experience with investing in SmartLands, I have doubled my initial investment of Stellar, meaning I used my Stellar to invest into SmartLands. SmartLands went high. I sold high. More than doubled my investment of SmartLands. And then I doubled my investment of Stellar because I sold high of SmartLands. And then I bought back into SmartLands low. And I'm going to keep repeating this process to increase the total amount of my Stellar amount, but at the same time stay invested in SmartLands, because I do believe that this is a very high potential and highly successful endeavor to be part of. And just in terms of establishing and whether they're scam or not, because I'm always afraid of scams, and we all know what happened with likes of BitConnect and all that. They are not only seeking a legal framework and trying to establish their legal framework, but they're also setting up offices in the where is it? They're setting up offices in UK, in the financial fintech sector of UK. There was an article about it that I read, and I'm just trying to find out on this. Is it here that they did it, or if it was on their Twitter that they announced it? But let me check their Twitter for you one quickly. I think it's in this article. Yeah, they talked about. They have offices. Let's see. Yes, they are launching offices in Vilnius and in London at level 39. And I didn't know this, but level 39 is a big financial sector in London. And let's just go here. And so to be part of this community, I think it's very good for their success, their future success, and establishes, to me, some legitimacy. So for that, I would encourage you always to do your own research and read up into any investments that you make. But that's my value-based assessment of Stellar and SmartLands, and why I think these two are going to be your go-to choices for investing as we ride into this bull market. Do look at my previous videos for levels of Stellar, for where you can collect profits. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.